Shalom everyone, I'm Hananya Naftali with the latest update from the situation in northern Israel. I have to tell you that the news, they're not becoming more calming. Actually, it's more intense. Things are escalating, so stick around. Quickly before we continue, please make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel, guys. I invite you to do that. And while you're at it, also be sure to check out the IsraelStore.com. Let's fight the BDS movement together. Stand with Israel economically, with prayer spiritually, and with our love. Because when we're united, we are strong. And local businesses in Israel could really use our support. Hezbollah's leader, Nasrallah, just recently threatened in a speech that invading the Galilee is still on Hezbollah's agenda. As we know, they have planned for this, prepared for invading the Galilee. And I've said it before, they wanted to kind of implement the same method, such as Hamas did with October 7 invasion into southern Israeli communities. Hezbollah wants to do that in the Galilee. So Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah, just now said that it's on the agenda. And if Israel is pushing towards escalation, that's what they're going to do. But it's ridiculous that Hezbollah is saying that if Israel is going to escalate, because keep in mind you, that Israel did not start this aggression in the north. Hezbollah is the one that joined Hamas by launching rockets, suicide drones, UAVs into Israel when Hamas invaded. So it is Hezbollah that started this aggression against Israel, and it is Israel that is doing what every other normal country would have done: defend its borders, defend its people from rocket attacks. Because just imagine if you lived in a city such as Haifa, a beautiful city on the Mediterranean shores, and you would be targeted by rocket fire, by suicide drones, and not having your normal life and daily routine. So we have right now tens of thousands of Israelis who are displaced, who are refugees inside of Israel. They don't have normal lives. Their towns, their villages are bombed. Complete houses, complete streets don't have any houses. As Hezbollah terrorists continue to violate UN Resolution 1701 after the Second Lebanon War that demanded the disarmament of Hezbollah from its arms, and also to push Hezbollah away from southern Lebanon. We see that none of that is happening. Hezbollah is strengthening itself and basing itself more and more on in southern Lebanon. Now, the answer is very obvious. Why in southern Lebanon and not north of Lebanon? Very simple, because that's where Israel is. Iran, the main sponsor of Hezbollah, is sponsoring Hezbollah for one reason: to see the destruction of Israel, to make sure that lives of Israelis are always disrupted. So what we are doing, the Israeli army is doing, is exactly defending ourselves. Now, more interesting news that are coming is that Hezbollah published just this week a close to 10-minute drone footage. They were bragging about them being able to infiltrate into Israel from the air with a drone. They took some photos, some videos, and were showing it in a dramatic way, in their own dramatic way, with music, showing that we know where the Israeli Navy is located and stuff like that. And they published it on social media, saying that we know we were able to infiltrate into Israel and gather intelligence. Now, a question that many Israelis had is why were they able to enter into Israel using a drone, take videos, and to come back? So many people were wondering, is this AI? Is this something that's not real, fake? So then the Israeli army spokesperson announced and said that they were able to enter into Israel. Israel knew about it, but they let them do that because they did not want to risk shooting the drone down, knowing that it's not a suicide drone. So they didn't want to risk shooting it down, and parts of the drone, parts of the missile could jeopardize Israeli lives. So they made this decision to let the drone carry on and to be aware of that. I'm not sure if that's the right decision, but that's what the Israeli Air Force has decided to do. Now, also in response to that happening, and in a way in response to the recent threat by the head of Hezbollah, the arch terrorist Nasrallah, the chief of staff of the Israel Defense Forces visited the northern border, and he said that the enemies of Israel know very little about the capabilities of the Israeli army. And he said that we are facing a war for over 8 months, and we have to stay resilient, stay strong, stand against the radicals in Lebanon. Keep in mind, most people in Lebanon do not want this war. They're not interested in this war. They want to free Lebanon from Hezbollah. There are now Christian resistance standing up to Hezbollah in southern Lebanese villages and kicking Hezbollah out of their villages because they don't want anything to do with Hezbollah. Lebanon is suffering from corruption, severe economy, bad economy. The Prime Minister of Lebanon just recently said that they are not interested in escalation with Israel. So if you're not interested in escalation with Israel, call on the international community to take action against Hezbollah, to say something. It's just absurd that right now the world is silent in the face of the constant attacks that northern Israel is coming under almost every day. There are rocket silence, UAVs, suicide drones sent from Lebanon into Israel. Lebanon, a sovereign state. Israel, a sovereign state. Lebanon is attacking Israel. And the UN, human rights organizations, they're calling on Israel to de-escalate. How about demanding that Hezbollah will come to its end because it's a terror organization? So that's something that we are facing right now. Now, I grew up in the Galilee. I lived really not far away from Tiberias. It's a beautiful place. Lebanon is also a beautiful place. Now it's disrupted. This beautiful life in the north is disrupted by the constant rocket attack. Hezbollah is targeting civilians. Hezbollah is firing at Israeli cities. Israel is targeting Hezbollah. Israel is targeting terrorists. Hezbollah is targeting civilians. So if you were in the shoes of Israel, if you lived in a city that came under rocket fire, you would hope that your army and that your country would have reacted in the same way that Israel is reacting right now. Because since the beginning of this war, Hezbollah launched more than 19,000 rockets and missiles into Israel. Just imagine what would happen if not 19,000 missiles fired, but one missile fired into the US, into your country, in Europe, in Asia. Just one missile. What would the reaction be? 19,000 rockets and missiles launched, fired into Israel. We don't have the right to defend ourselves. We have the duty to defend ourselves. It's not a privilege that we have. We don't want wars, but we have to defend ourselves. There is no other option. So I hope you understand the situation. Now, the Galilee is also a region where there are a lot of Arabs. Keep in mind that there are also rocket sirens in Muslim majority villages in Israel, in Arab villages in Israel. Hezbollah couldn't care less if it targets Arabs, as long as they disrupt the lives of Israelis living in their homes. So that's the war that we are facing right now in northern Israel. All eyes are right now turning to the situation in the north, because it looks like it is heading towards escalation. But we can only hope for peace, and at the same time, get ready and be prepared for the wars to come. Keep praying for Israel. We need our friends today more than ever. Thank you very much.